coming into part number 3 for game number 9, season 4, Chase the Bracelet, 18-minute blinds. Get started here in a second. 400, 800 blinds coming into this this round. And Train, are you ready? Looks like everything's a go. Are you guys ready in the studio?
Of course.
Excellent. I guess Train, get her started.
Here we go. Good luck, guys.
Patience paid off again for you, Paul.
With aces paying off prior to us going to break, we are still at 6. We have Mark with 5,800. We have Robert with 5,800. Corey is in 4th place with 6,400. Ed in 3rd with 8,300. Dan in 2nd with 13,200. And the dark horse, Paul Moskowitz, in 1st place, current chip leader at 14,800 chips. Paul sees a flop here.
Didn't know that.
Dude, it was like 45 seconds for me to pull some chips out. Clock.
Well, I was trying to decide if I wanted to shove. But I decided to go easy on you.
Okay, check then.
All right, I check.
I'll check.
Checks around here.
3-way check.
A jack on the turn.
26.
Suited Dan bets 2,600.
No, I have to turn my
With top
phone
pair, and Ed has a open-ended straight draw.
Paul tried very hard to play his 6s to catch a set on the flop and didn't bet when the 2 overcards came.
I'll tell you what, Moskowitz sometimes is just amazing with his patience. I've never seen anybody be able to wait and then pick up the aces and kings. And
2,600 for Ed to call.
Ed's got.
Ed needs any king, queen, or 8 to win this hand.
Don't have this in hand.
Ace jack.
No, I don't have ace jack. Don't put me on good
Ace
hands like
3.
that.
Ace 9.
Not a winner. And you're chippy. You get a check.
Corey dash first.
Open it and draw it or something?
15 minutes, 18 seconds left in the blinds. Blinds are 400, 800.
Mark with the ace 3.
Mark all in.
I was just going to say, we might see Mark shove here.
Looks like about 4,200.
57.
Is it that much?
57.
5,700 total. All players fold.
Mark 6,900 in chips now after taking 4 and 800 blinds from Mark and Robert.
Good luck, big boy.
Thank you, Rick. With the ball champ. Who beat anorexia.
Corey with kings.
Paul
Uh-oh.
with 9s. I think we're going to see Paul get in trouble here.
Oh, I'm thinking we might see Mark shove here, though.
I know that. I know that.
Oh, good fold.
Paul's great, even though
That's his name.
Last night or
Might see Paul. If we see Paul raise here, we could, depending on what. Corey's definitely going to get all his money in the pot.
Moskowitz all in.
Paul moves all in with 9s.
What did I steal? Oh,
Rob thinking about 7, 8.
Don't blame me on that.
Jesus Christ. What do you got? I have such bad luck against you, Corey.
I already sucked out once. Wait, I'm putting my glasses on for this one. I want to see all the board.
Alright, well Dan, you have to call
It's a 9 on the turn.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
However,
It's a 9 on the turn.
You do that to me?
Paul
It's
should
not
still
me
have
doing
roughly
it.
8 or
Because I
9,000
can't control these
left
things,
after
you're
this
gonna
game,
You can only predict them.
if he does in fact lose.
One player at risk.
He's about 25% to survive or to take Corey out here.
Good luck, Sis.
No help.
9 and a 9 only.
2 outs left. Paul's 6%. Blah.
You know, it's all because I said good luck, big boy.
Kings.
Great sound effects in there.
Take it down.
And everyone knows. And no one likes me. See?
No one likes suited Dan.
You just double the glass.
You just consider making a standard version.
Huh? I just wanted to take it down. Park your big.
No.
Ed Dack first.
Mark with 8s, Rob with ace jack. I think we're going to see a big pot here.
No, you do that because you don't want to call her.
What? I don't think you're going to make kings
I'm
go
not
away.
going to explain.
Huh?
So I'm not even going to explain to you what.
46 all in.
All in for Robert, 4,600.
Alright.
Mark pushes all in.
At risk?
8s versus ace jack.
See if Mark can finally win a hand here.
Oh man, there's going to be a king 10 on the flop.
Oh,
and you've got a
it'll be
side.
saucy.
One right there.
And then
8 river queen.
then there's gonna be a
Ten
9.
episodes of Friends, I guess.
So he's gonna be opening.
Corey trying to predict what we're looking at here.
Oh.
Jack in the window.
Mark is running awful.
It's a definite race, though, 8s against ace.
Well, yeah, but he's lost a lot of them.
You would have been.
I can't control it. You would have been shanked!
And I couldn't have controlled that.
Do people understand that I cannot control the cards?
I understand. I mean,
Dan, quit controlling the cards, Dan. We're going to have to write that into the rules.
I will shank Crafton and all his supporters.
Leaves
That looks like
Mark
it's gonna be
very
nice.
short stacked.
All my athletic supporters. Because I'm so athletic.
See if Corey tries to steal here.
Action on Corey.
You have left that one? 23 total. Yeah, 23 total.
raise to 16.
Corey raises to 1,600.
Question is,
I'd love to see Ed just repop him here.
screaming, come on, hang on, crowd.
Hang on.
Maybe. There's a possibility he might be
Did
doing
he
that.
take his iPad?
I don't know.
Ed calls.
Just a call.
It's a car.
I thought you called someone for a run.
No, his train doesn't have a.
It was me, my truck's. Oh. Currently,
And Ed flops top pair.
Bobby would have bought you a car if his
I know, right?
See how ballsy Corey
Yeah,
gets.
no friend. If I made 14 grand,
Corey bets 1,700.
A bus pass?
I'd do something.
Moped.
I'd do something. You could work it all. Hey. You can ride. All right.
Ed looking pained about having top pair, top kicker here. Holy cow.
We should do it.
Step outside for a moment.
You get the heart
With a chat.
It's still trailing.
Probably.
You weren't out there long
You know what?
You weren't out there long enough to let it.
Their window's open.
Not in my car. Oh,
Pretty
man.
soon you're just gonna hear thud, thud.
Action still on Ed.
It's like the canaries in the mine shaft. That's our cue to get out. Hello?
I think this is just a hand where you got to go with it.
You know what I would have done? I'd grab Paul's head.
I mean, you call a pre-flop raise and flop
Your
top
friend
pair,
is
top
here.
kicker.
All suffering.
What are you hoping to hit?
And I'm not sure. What can you put Corey on here? There's
Yeah.
not a lot that you can.
That's,
Hey, let's it go.
that's just,
It's a terrible play.
yeah, that's just awful there on that fold.
You're too lazy to watch.
If you're going to flop top pair, why would you call a raise? You flop top pair, top kicker, and then fold.
Well, clothed and
That is stolen.
Action on Paul Moskowitz to act first.
Sorry, guys.
I think he was just waiting for this ace queen
Mark
here.
with a king queen, Ed with an ace king.
19.
Mark all in with 1900.
Should
This is what
definitely
he was
see a
waiting
call
for.
out of Ed here.
Ed all in.
I don't have to. 19 was I had the chips up, so it's I had Jack 3, I bet it's the winner.
Mark continuing to run bad here.
3 hearts, not 4.
two hearts with an ace of clubs.
There's an ace.
Oh.
Mark needing a 10. Or running clubs.
10.
Put a 3 on there.
Mark needing a 10 and a 10 only.
And with 4 clubs on the board, Ed takes it down with
Mark,
aces.
Mark,
He's leaving you hanging.
Hey, you didn't say that.
Paul would like you to pound him.
Pound me, Mark.
Pounding you hard.
Do it, Mark.
We gotta keep
That's your consolation prize.
Pound me.
People are watching. You know what I mean?
Button here?
Yeah.
You're small. For a while.
And like I haven't heard that since like 9th grade.
Yeah, like I haven't heard that.
Paul with a king queen suited.
I came out of the womb this fast.
That's why my mom hates me.
suited Dan with an ace 4.
Ed with suited
My
connector.
sister was 12 pounds by
Yeah.
now.
After seeing him, yeah, I don't think Mark's going to be stopping
Believe
by.
Mark's gonna exit before the exit interview is conducted.
Sudan calls. Paul Moskowitz pushes all in.
Mark a little frustrated tonight.
Sudan folds.
Definitely
That's like
understand.
that joke from the Predator. So I said to my wife,
Suited Dan folds a king queen suited.
don't you remember that from the
I
Predator?
personally had my worst week of poker
My
this,
sister's usually the size of a line.
in its entirety this past week, so not a lot can be done. Sometimes you just run bad.
What, you mad I didn't call you? Because I wouldn't call
Corey to act first.
7,000? Like, you want some chips.
Corey with 5s, pretty sure we'll see him be in this hand.
That's a reasonable bet.
Suited Dan with a queen 9 off. He's really tightening up. I think he's playing for the points now.
Paul folds 10 jack suited. Not a hand I would fold easily there.
Robert calls.
So we pushed Bobby down, and now we're pushing Mark down.
Dan correct. It is anybody's race at this point.
Corey should not be very afraid of this flop.
Chugga chugga.
Corey bets 2,200. Robert shows Jack King.
I like Corey's bet size, and I'll tell you that.
Right next to him.
Because the beard is so
It
good.
is the beard.
It's the beard. Or
If I lay his head like this, it kind of.
I'm
If I
not
sat
afraid to
next to the
play
beard,
some
I would-
pots. A lot of these, you'll see these guys overbet pots and huge raises to just take down the blinds.
Uh,
Ed to act first. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left in the blinds. Blinds are 400,
We
800.
had to reprimand the guy at the facility.
All right, suited Dan with the Jack 8 of clubs, but seems like everybody's got clubs this hand.
You know, that is
See
a
what Dan does
conversation.
here. Yeah,
all my
Dan's
years of
absolutely
school, I
tightened
never
up.
thought, you know, one day I'm going to have to do.
All those years of education.
Robert calls 800.
Right. Well, thank God the
Sir,
clinical director.
Please
is the one
deposit
who
it
did
elsewhere.
Corey checks his option.
Rob flops 2 pair and checks. Corey's going to put a bet out here, it looks like.
$1,100 bet by Corey.
Call.
Call by Robert.
Checks.
Both players
Rob
check.
with 2 pair and an open-ended straight draw.
I had a 10.
Oh, that's Jack 8.
At least I had the balls to call.
Yep.
From the small one.
1 minute left in these blinds.
You didn't have the balls to stop because they were on Paul. Covered in the ball.
Corey with an ace jack and a small blind.
Call.
I love when he does that.
Now Dan's coming in with king 8 suited, but he won't play jack 8 suited.
I know, that is a great.
Or
I know,
king
that's a-
queen suited.
Come on, wife, that's a sweet one, honey.
What's wrong with you people?
See how much Corey raises here from the small blind.
Where do I begin? Start with my birth.
24.
Raised to 2,400 by Corey.
Looks like a 3 times the big blind bet.
Call.
Just when I think suited Dan is tightened up, he makes
Suited
a
calls.
really loose call.
Order.
Corey bets 2,500.
Dan can't put him on a 7 or 3 here. However, he doesn't feel that his king is good and he lets it go.
500.
5,000, guys.
I don't think Corey's ever raising out of position there after Dan limps in or anywhere where king 8's good.
Extra on Moskowitz to act first.
Paul with 10s. He'll ship it here.
Paul is all in.
Suited may call. I would call a lot of people at the table, but I would not call Paul here.
68. I'm ready to go.
Dan ready to gamble calls with
Dan
his
calls.
7.
You did.
Definitely a gamble here.
Oh, I lost a 10 all
Paul's
night
going to
last
win
night.
this 2/3 of the time.
Come on, Paul.
Aces and hearts, please.
I want it all.
Couple sevens to relax. Got some black cards in there.
There's one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
2 hearts on the flop here.
How about an 8?
Hey, come
Paul
on,
sweating
Trey.
again.
One more like that, Trey. Come on, buddy.
Shot through the
Come on, buddy.
Ace on the river.
Ace on the river.
Not even the heart. More out with the heart. Oh,
Shot through the heart.
button's good.
Looks like Paul's heading towards the commentator booth.
Yeah, right? You always gotta make me look like a dick. You always gotta make me look like a dick. What are you doing? Calling me so.
Corey to act first.
Said I'm ready to gamble. I'm tired of everyone full numbers all in. Who wants to play for 8,000? We're playing for 8,000.
Small.
Just like that.
And we're on the bubble.
How's that?
Rob with King 9. Corey with King Jack.
Ed with 5-9 of clubs here.
Suited Dan with 8-3.
Raise 22
I'm not
now.
sure what he'll do.
Corey
anymore.
raises to 2,200.
You might like that.
83 in a month.
Announcing hands during
Robert
live
calls.
action. Terrible.
Oh!
Suited Dan is not currently in this hand. His cards just have not mugged yet. There we go.
Robert checked. Corey throws out a bet.
Corey bets again. Corey's image definitely enables him to take a lot more pots down. Could be the exact same thing Paul could do, but I think Corey has more gumption to
The first thing I
bet.
saw was it was black, and I thought, oh, great. And then I went, oh, it's an ace.
That's even money. Hey, Corey.
Ed to act first.
Corey with King Jack. Ed with 10 Jack. Welcome, Paul.
Ed all in.
Ed moves in with 10.
I got nothing to say.
Of course you do. How do you feel about Dan's call there with the ace-7 hearts?
Well, I'm still ticked at Corey waking up with kings on my push. I was just hoping to just take it down there. I finally got some chips to take some pots down, and I wake up. He wakes up with kings there. I've done this, had an all-in with him in a previous game, and he had aces. And he was the last person I needed to give chips to, because he'll just keep betting out on it. And then, Dan, good for him. Good for him for being rewarded for that crazy call.
That's twice tonight it's happened to him.
From my point of view, I see that you and Corey seem to have a very similar style, waiting for hands, and I think at that point, the waiting just kind of paid off for him.
Well, and it paid off for me. I mean, I was chip leader after the break, and I could have really, I didn't need to put myself in that kind of predicament if I lost the hand, but, Corey called it flawed logic, but I had a medium pocket pair with two people after me, and I thought with my chip stack I would take it down. I mean, that
Absolutely.
From my perspective, anything, if he doesn't have a big pocket pair, I take that down and we move along. And then I don't have to push all in when I get my pocket tens.
Robert all in.
You can also raise it up there and find out a lot of the same information.
I usually could have done that, but I really didn't even want to see a flop. I didn't want to see a flop.
Well, what you do there, I think, is if you don't want to see a flop, make a 4x raise.
Robert tagged first.
Well, the downside to that is once he commits chips, and Corey's stack was slight. I'm not sure. I think Corey had around 5,000 to 6,000 chips.
Yeah, it was half my stack.
You were sitting at 14.8. Corey was
you got
at
to call
5.8.
even if
So
it comes over the top.
if you bet probably about half his stack, which is any raise at that point, 2,400 is 3 times the big blind, and I think
get
you
the same
commit
information.
yourself
Corey
no matter
raises
what.
to 2,200.
What he's saying is, I didn't realize his stack was that small.
Yeah.
You're committed to call his all in anyway.
So I think the downside is at that point, Destiny just says Moskowitz is going to lose some chips here.
Yeah, and then that the tens and him, suited Dan. He did the same thing against Bobby. I mean, made just a crazy call, an all-in call like that, and he got rewarded for it. I mean, I dodged 4 cards. I didn't think he hit it on the river, but he did, and I went from chip leader to being the next one out, and I wasn't real happy about it.
Yeah.
Not happy about it at all.
I think we might see an all-in and a call here.
Do you feel like next time, Paul, that you might open up a little bit more earlier to try and build a bigger chip stack, or are you happy with the way you're building your chip stack?
No, my cards really sucked, and the only time I had decent, reasonable playing hands, somebody would raise before me, a 3x raise before me, and I just simply didn't want to call with them because my chip stack started to get low. There was a very aggressive play there tonight. I never saw that many all-ins in the first blind or for the first level before break as we did tonight.
Robert at risk here.
It was just very aggressive, and I went through a string of really bad cards. Those aces though helped me big time when I beat Ed. I really thought I was set up to win tonight.
All kinds of outside.
Hold up.
You motherfucker.
And with a deuce, Robert is eliminated in 4th place.
With a deuce and a expletive there too.
But Paul, do you feel like you might try and steal pots next game?
Well, did you see the one I did with the 2-3 today?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but when you tried to, then you repped like you had the ace. The ace flopped out, and you checked the flop, giving somebody a chance to hit something. I was wondering why you did that. I mean, if you're going to raise with 2-3 and rep like you got a big an ace.
Well, you did raise with 2-3 and get 2 callers, which is an absolute nightmare for those hands.
Yeah. I went through that with my 7 deuce last week.
However, there are some hands that I want to question is that you played I think 6s at one point, and you made a raise pre-flop, and there was a 7-10-3 on the flop. So to those 2 overcards, it seemed like you were.
Well, somebody came out and bet.
Yeah.
After the
check
turn they
flop,
bet.
and they did. I believe they had a jack on the turn, but what made you?
I forget
think
what my
that you
chip stack.
can't-
My chip stack might have. See, at that point, I almost feel like I'm going to be committing my chips. I think I was only down to like 4,000 at that point. That might have had something to do with it. I can't remember what my chip count was right at that point. I didn't want to bluff at that point.
You were ahead.
Well, yeah. I know that now.
My friend, hindsight.
Yeah.
Battle of 3 here.
But I'll tell you what, when my chip stack dwindles, I'm just more cautious.
Absolutely.
Boy, I was rooting for an 8.
Corey raises to 2,300.
Okay. So Robert's going to relieve me here.
Ed all in.
So turn off the microphone. No.
Ed moves all in with Jack 3.
That's because he saw Catrafello.
Yeah. Corey's been raising a ton with nothing.
No, I know. That's why I was so sorry to give him chips, because I knew he would start that. He uses them to his advantage.
Well, Corey's image definitely allows him to do such a thing.
Corey to act first.
He's what we'll call a young Paul Moskowitz. That's what I'm going to refer to him as. Corey from here on out will be young Paul.
2,200 raised by Corey.
Young Paul
raises
raises to 2,200.
Well, Paul would never raise with King 5, so we got to quit saying that.
What? He's young Paul though. This is Paul
Suited
with
Dan
gumption.
calls.
Paul with balls. This is where we want Paul to
I wouldn't
be
recognize
20 years
that.
ago. Just
20
not
years
so,
ago,
not
he-
so much beard.
20 years ago, he was shirtless in Miami or Daytona Beach.
4,000 bet by Suited Dan.
Susan says, "You've got nothing. I'm taking it down with an ace."
Let's see if Corey plays back at him. I've seen him do it several times.
Tries to get a read on Dan, but all I see is fold in his future.
5 minutes, 17 seconds left in the blinds.
Let's his king high go.
Donk by Dan pays off.
Ed to act first.
I do believe if Ed wins this season, we should get to shave his head into a mullet.
Oh, he's had it.
You can
In
tell.
fact, when I first met Ed, he had the
you
full-blown mullet. It was
Yeah,
pretty
you
sweet.
can tell he's had the mullet.
Suited Dan to act
Wasn't
first.
a whole lot, yeah. There's a couple points, I thought.
Corey's ahead. Corey's gonna lead after today. Corey will be in.
Well, not if Dan wins.
I think.
With the
Dan wins, he loses.
I'm the
Anti-wits. It's a good one.
Well, if he finishes...
Corey is 3 points ahead of Dan. If Dan wins and Corey takes second today, Dan will be 1 point ahead of, or yes.
They'll be tied.
No,
27
there's
and
a
24. There's a 3-point difference.
There's a 3-point difference, but the point difference between
2,200
second and
raised
third
by
is
Corey.
only 2 points.
27 and 24.
27 is first place.
Right. If Dan finishes first.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Corey's finished second.
I was thinking
They'll
second.
be tied.
Rooting for Ed here. Ed for the win.
He pulled the glove off. I'm like,
If Ed does win this, it's going to tighten up this race a whole lot more. Paul, unfortunately, you're gonna fall a little bit today.
Yeah, you're out of it.
You're never out.
Corey to act first.
I know I'm out of win. I was actually hoping today to at least, I wanted to try to at least finish in the top.
Right.
I know there's no
You might be.
Corey with
Well,
ace king here and been raising
My
up.
exit today.
Runner.
I needed to win today.
Raised to 2,200 by Corey.
Just laughing at you. So we laugh at Paul here in the back.
I finally get to
Paul irate in the back room,
I'm not irate.
breaking things and damning them and.
Ed to
No,
act
Paul,
first.
don't hit Paul. Settle down. Shut the cameras off, please.
Hide the sharp objects.
Paul's going crazy back here.
I think Dan's got the lead.
Dan and Corey.
Ed calls. Suited Dan calls. Corey checks his option.
everybody's in.
Suited Dan flops top pair. The other two flops second pair.
See if Susan Dan can put
All
this
Dan
down
is
with
getting
you.
is ace this time.
2,000 bet by Corey. Ed calls.
And Dan's just going to let him bet. So
See what Dan does here. He lets the best hand go.
Suited Dan folds.
Bet every single hand.
Well, of course he's going to bet there. If you check second pair to somebody, they're going to bet.
That should take it down. Let's Corey hits a 6.
Ed all in.
Oh, they got a ton of chop outs too.
Yeah, there's
a ton of chop outs.
3,800 total. .49 seconds left in the blind.
I think Corey will call. Once he thinks about it, I think he's going to call.
I mean, without seeing the action, I'm standing there. He likes his chip.
You were right. I thought he would call.
Ed takes it down.
Doesn't even know they folded the best hand.
Best hand by far.
5 cents, so that's 6-12 next hand.
He's not like me there. He's unless somebody has king jack.
Paul Moskowitz, king of fatalistic thinking.
If that was true, I'd still be behind.
This is where it takes forever. Especially with these three.
I had a nice plus money today, though.
Raise 2,500.
First hand, knowing I wanted
Corey.
Raised to 2,500 by Corey.
He's playing it.
Like
I
Michael
got a
tonight.
couple of
I mean, you probably did.
Ed
Corey's
folds.
definitely the most aggressive at the table right now.
I still can't believe Suited
Michael-
Dan folded top pair three-handed and didn't even think about it.
Yeah. No, my goal tonight was just try and get in as many hands against
Corey to act first.
Bobby and Dan and Corey.
And Colin raises.
Actually, your greatest fan just posted awesome on that Facebook page. You live with her.
I still can't believe he paid you off on the river.
The
I couldn't
girl
believe he
from
called.
Dan's
I could
Closet
not.
Something
posts
you did.
on Facebook for us. He must have untied her hands before he left the house.
Ed folds.
Suited Dan wins with deuces.
Suited Dan to act first.
Take it easy,
See you, Paul.
Blinds are 600, 1,200, 16 minutes, 22 seconds left in the blinds.
A rough job in that office, ain't it, boss?
Like to see Ed raise the button here.
Just push him.
I don't think Ed grasped that concept.
Hey, Paulie. You're right. I am number one in chips right now.
I'm not going to be there tomorrow, just so you know.
Is that out of anger?
Yeah.
He takes first at in Medina, but then you do what you did. And
Ed was sevens. Corey was 7-8 suited. We might see Corey raise
See if we
it
can
up
get
here.
Corey make a raise there.
I think we will.
We'll bet.
I have the best hand.
I know what Ed's
A little
chip
bit
stack
more.
is, but he's probably going to shove.
Yeah, he's. I
Still
would
pretty
think.
well.
I would think
He's
Ed
got
would
it.
shove.
2,800 is the bet by Corey.
For God's sakes, don't pull Moskowitz and fold. Oh,
Ed is all in.
Player like me, 79.
5,000
a hand
more to
earlier.
Corey.
me?
No, he did.
8,000
To
total.
Corey. He called Corey's pre-flop raise. The board came 9 high. He had ace-9 and folded.
6,400
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all
For-
reputation.
Corey to call.
Well, I
mean, I don't-
If you're calling with ace-9.
Right, then
Yeah.
you hit something, you gotta
Yeah,
play
your
it.
flop top pair, top kicker would.
I mean, he must have thought he had a big pair or something down, which
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense. But
Then you don't call the raise.
Corey, Hollywood, just a little.
I think Corey's figuring out the math here to see if he's getting the right odds to call. And
It's getting
are those odds right?
roughly 2-1. Yeah. I don't see Corey gambling here.
Well, the good news is if he folds, I can take my half-hour drive home and still catch the end of this.
He folded.
Yep. All right, guys. See you next week.
All right, we'll see you next week.
It shows sevens.
Better luck next time. Tony recaps his beer.
Did they give it to you in the booth?
Thanks. That's what I thought. I had a feeling, but I just thank you. Hour?
Waiting for the hands to go off the screen here.
Yeah.
Corey with an ace-9, suited Dan with ducks.
What's Ed got here? Ed with 5-6.
Raised to 2,500 by Corey.
Suited Dan, super slight favorite here. Definitely a coin flip. Love to see Dan shove with deuces.
That's what I was just going to say.
Suited Dan calls.
In this position, the play's to shove because Corey's got to fold. Just because of the chip stack Ed has. You know what I mean?
Dan first to act.
Action on Dan.
On the flop.
It has about 11,000.
Alright, see you kids.
Dan's right around 20.
See ya.
And that puts Corey right about 10 also.
Come on.
Dan pushes. Great play. Definitely saying, look, kid, if you got it, come get it. Corey just wondering if his ace is good.
I'm just wondering why he would do it there and not do it pre-flop. I mean, because if that flop comes 9-6-6, Corey's calling there.
Snap calling.
Yeah.
10 minutes,
I
50
think
seconds
Dan
left,
feels a
left in the
lot
blinds.
better about his hand right now that Corey's taken so
Oh,
long.
yeah. He's still 42%. Because he's got counterfeit outs.
Corey calls. Ace-9 versus deuces.
See if Dan can survive
10,
here.
ace-9.
Could go runner pair. A lot of outs for Corey.
And Dan.
Deuces full
Corey
of
out in third
sixes.
place.
Dan takes Corey out with an
Really?
unexpected play with deuces.
They were dumb.
Horseshoe X-ray? Yeah.
I had the best hand.
Horseshoe X-ray.
I had to play 2 pair. Just because I voted on the river.
Yeah, you get the option.
Dan with a massive chip lead here. Something like 4-1. See how aggressive Dan's going to be. We still see Paul Moskowitz in the background.
All right, I'll call.
First hand.
They all in first hand?
Hold 'em back. They're all
Well, unless Ed gets lucky, it's going to be a short heads-up battle.
Ace on the flop here for Dan.
And
with
that
a
does
9 on
it.
the turn, Dan is Game 9, Season 4 winner. Ed Wergler in second place.
That puts you in the first place.
I think that's our shortest heads-up battle of the season.
That was by far the shortest heads-up match.
That might be 2 good hands, though.
Was that 2
What do you
hands?
do?
One.
Was that 2 hands?
One hand.
Dan proclaiming his Ace-6 is good.
Ace-6 suited.